No yeets.
Oh, yo, what's poppin'?
It doesn't say it's live for me. Does it say it's live for you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll be right back.
Corner?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yo, what's poppin'? All my peeps, it is I, your host, the most Renaissance man, who always thinks he can, and you're a champion of the peeps, Patty Pitts, back once again in the yard streams for another edition of Pitts and Sara's Wrestling Show. Rewind, Raw Rewind, part of Pitts and Sara's Wrestling Show, where we take no night off. It's not just me, Patty P, here in the Art of Streams. I'm joined, as always, by the best of the West. You can't forget about Sarah Marshall. What's popping, girl?
Hey, yo.
Hello.
How you doing?
I am fine.
How you doing today? Has it been like a lot? I mean, let me take that back. I know what you told me off screen. It's been a wild day for you, and not so much of that for me, but it's been one of those days where you don't stop moving. You're just not, you don't have any time to relax. Even we'll say, like, I mean, at work, like when you work the Kohl's, you get like, all right, go in your 10, stuff like that. Don't get that. And then when I did have a free minute, I was off driving around, which I'm going to put this out there, Sarah, to all the peeps in the chat and anyone watching, that if you can name the 5 different fish that were in my car today, I will give you some sort of prize. I don't know what that is. If you're local, Honey Mustard Pizza. If you're, a peep who's joined us here in the wrestling show, like in the chat, I'll do a cameo, something. But please give me your answers there, because I did that. And then we went to the gym. We got swole. Look at me looking like Michael Cole out here in my LWO shirt. Went to the gym and then came home to set up Papa's iPhone and Sarah, helping people over the age of, I would say at this point, 50 with technology, especially anything Apple related, is so much more difficult than it should be. And it's draining. So I'm very happy here right now to be talking to you and to the peeps about wrestling, because that's all I've wanted to talk about all day. It's really the only thing I wanted to really care about to talk about. And you can't do that. It kind of stinks.
Yeah.
It stinks. So I'm happy you're here, Sarah. Hey, cheers. Cheers to the peeps. All right. But that's me, Royal. How are you? So
I am all right. I'm just tired. I am not sleeping well. So, it is what it is. And then just like frustrating stuff at work, but it's fine.
Hey, Blink said once, work sucks. I know. I've lived by that motto for a long time.
All right.
I'm just gotta liven up, Sarah. We gotta get the vibes going, because we had the go home show, 2 Money in the Bank last night on Raw. Not too bad.
I wouldn't say it was good, but
I said not too bad. All right. I said not too bad for a go home show that let me rewind. We have seen so much worse.
Yeah.
As the last show into a pay-per-view in the fair recent past, that I'm not putting this one as the worst, like a lot of people are probably talking about online. Because right now, I mean, we've been gone since Thursday and a lot of shit has gone down. We're going to talk about all those releases and people who have been released talking about their release. We'll talk about all of that tomorrow. Obviously, with our guy, R-Truth, and the fans chanting "We Want Truth" last night, before, during, and after the show. Definitely feeling it, but so
People need to stop pretending like they care about Valhalla. That's one thing I will say.
Oh my God, have you? I follow this guy Julian Weeks,
Oh
and
yeah.
he is just sniping people
Well,
who
because it's just that I'm
are
sorry.
veterans.
I get that you want to pile on because people are feeling a certain way about what's going on in WWE, but like, stop. None of you
Yeah,
have been sitting here wondering where she was. None of you wanted to see her when she was on TV. You guys are just pretending now. Like, that's the thing that really frustrates me when it comes to like WWE releases. It's like all of a sudden these people come out of the woodwork pretending like they were diehard fans of somebody. And it's like, I mean, people even did it, and I'm not saying they're on the same level, but people were doing it with when like Dakota Kai got released. Like, none of you guys cared about her, because if you did, she would have felt it in the arenas, she would have been selling merch, and she might not have been released. All of a sudden now you're pretending like you were a huge Dakota Kai fan when you weren't, you know? So it's like, when now that they're doing it with somebody like Valhalla, it's like, shut up. You are not
yeah,
a fan of hers. You do not care. It's just another convenient thing that you can like throw at your anger about.
exactly. And that's what irks me the most about it, is that if you are one of those super fan accounts, have your temper tantrum. Totally get it. Like, but you're gonna, it makes sense for people who just with those accounts of wrestlers as their profile picture and are so fickle. It's just, it is the bad energy that we do not need in the wrestling
Well,
community.
and there are constantly people who are sitting there talking about, why does so and so still have a job? Why does so and so still have a job? It's like,
Yeah,
that still
yeah.
might be somebody's favorite wrestler, and you are saying that they should be unemployed. But then when somebody gets released that you like, it's a big deal. It's like, okay, but you've been calling for this person's head for months or years at this point. Like, what are we doing?
It it's that. Also, you should never be rooting for someone to not have a job. That's just
Yeah.
human nature. And whether it's wrestling, that construction guy fixing your road, or that waiter who messed up your order, everyone deserves an opportunity for a job, so treat them with respect. All right, that's all we want in life, is be treated with respect. So it's time to show some respect to those who have graced us with their presence almost every week, almost every show. The peeps, what's poppin', Nathaniel? Dodgers Yankees was a good series, according to Nathaniel. We might see them play again in October. Feel sad about R-Truth. Do you think he'll go to AEW?
Absolutely not.
No, it's
TNA, if
if
he's
any
going to go anywhere.
Slammiversary. Like, there's an opportunity for TNA to do the funniest thing in the world, and that's have R-Truth return, but him think that he's in WWE, and you have him run into guys like Nick Nemeth and call him Dolph or Ziggs, like something like that. Be patient with R-Truth, because as sad as it is, he's 53. So, it's not like his career is over or whatever. But also, like, he's a veteran. There could be something we don't know about on the way. It's sad at the moment and it sucks, but don't worry. Don't worry just yet. You know. Yeah, they so fired R-Truth. Sophia, my question for you is, if me and Alex have our own WWE podcast, what would be a good name for our podcast? Listen, Sophia, it took us 2 years to come up with a show name, and the way we came up with it was just random conversation. Like, we weren't even thinking about, all right, what's a good name for our show? It was just us having a random conversation, and I forget what specifically, but just No Nights Off came up, and Sarah and I go, yeah, actually, we do take no nights off. And it's like, oh, well, there it is. That's the name of the show. Like, it just hits you. You know it. It's not something that you go find. It's something that it just happens. You know what I mean? So if that helps, like, find common interest between you and Alex that you don't already have in the relationship, but in the wrestling relationship you have. What's up, Jay? How you doing? Bernard, what's up? Bernard, we will be on his show this Thursday. All right, giving our Money in the Bank predictions and whatever the hell the professor wants to throw at me and Sarah, because I loved going at it with him. It was fun. Good dude. But also, because of that, we will be going live tomorrow at 7:10, giving our own Money in the Bank predictions. All right, so I'll be on the look at that. What's up, John? Let's go Monday Night Raw. All right, good shit. Way to be. I'm doing another green room segment on our show, and I think Sarah's gonna like it. Okay. All right.
Jay Uso sucks. Okay, cool. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Oh, alien technology. Okay, Atlantic Cod. I'm giving it to you. I'm giving Cod to you. Haddock, no. Pollock, no. Monkfish, no. Mackerel, no.
How about, is it only fish? Is there
No, it's like
shellfish?
shellfish. Like, yeah. I got
Lobster.
everything. Saturday, not today.
Scallops.
No.
Crab.
Yes. I'll give you crab because it was a specific type, but I'm giving you crab.
Mussels.
No, not today.
Clams.
No.
Salmon.
Yes, smoked salmon. Okay.
So that's
We're there.
3.
You're getting there.
That's 3,
We
right?
can hit the 5. Like,
Tilapia.
no, we don't fucking sell.
Swordfish.
What was the third thing you said? Crab, cod, salmon.
Salmon.
Yes. No.
Swordfish.
No. Well, all right. It was technically 4 because crab. It was one was claws.
Oh.
And the other was like the live crab itself. So that was like 2. So
Oysters?
one more. I did carry oysters today. Yeah, I did.
There we go.
Carry oysters. They were the tiniest little fucking things. Good shit, boys. That was a team effort. There's team effort out of everyone. I think there's one more in there. So if anyone just like has a little stim out moment where they just are thinking of a fish and yell it out, go for it. All right. It's enough nonsense, Sarah. I think it's time for us to talk about Raw on Netflix. So take it away, girl.
All right. Okay.
Stretch it out.
So I figured we could just talk about everything that happened with Sammy. Because he came out to go back and forth with CM Punk. They were basically just trying to assert their dominance, but also letting everybody know that they are going for that World Heavyweight title. And at that point, CM Punk was planning on doing that by getting into the Money in the Bank, which we'll talk about later. Sammy already lost, but he's like, hey, I'm still going for it no matter what, no matter who walks out as the Money in the Bank winner, and whoever wins, in the Jey Uso Gunther rematch on Raw. But the way that Sammy was talking was not in the most friendly manner. Like, you can give him some leniency, I guess, because they're talking about being aggressive in going after the World Heavyweight title. So it's like, okay, you're not going to have a babyface be like, I'll wait my turn. Like, obviously that's not going to happen. But he like stepped up to Punk, which is kind of new. And then we saw later Karrion Kross approached him, and Sammy was not into it at all, called him out for obsessing over him over the last few weeks or months. Yeah. And Karrion is still being that little devil on Sammy's shoulder and being like, you're not a good guy. I know what you're capable of. You could have been a champion however many times at this point if you just unleashed that side of you. And Sammy is like, you're wrong. And Karrion says, I might be wrong, but I might be right too. So I feel like we're just getting more and more hints of a potential Sami Zayn heel turn. Like, I don't know when it's going to come. I don't know if it's going to be on Jay or if it's going to be on somebody else, but this is the kind of stuff that I feel like we might look back on when it might happen. Like, I don't know if it's going to happen anytime soon, just because if we're talking about Triple H's universe, he doesn't do things immediately. He can sit, he sits on stories like this.
Mhm.
But I feel like we're seeing and hearing these conversations for a reason, and it's
No, we
not
are.
innocent.
We are. There's definitely seeds being planted. Carrying Cross does not just hang around people and then leave and everything's hunky dory. Like after he leaves, that's when they snap. And the way that he approached Punk last night with the "you must win," like that's not Sammy being the hero and like I'm trying to hype you up. That's him like threatening. Like that there was a threatening tone with that. Like if you don't, then I'll have to, and you're not going to like how I do it.
Mm-hmm.
And it might be that he says that, screw all my friends. So I want to see Sami Zayn heel because I want to see Sami Zayn as champion.
But see, this is what I think is interesting, right? Because Sammy was technically a heel for like a couple years when he was doing the whole conspiracy theory gimmick,
Yeah.
and then he was in the bloodline. So it was like he was kind of a bad guy, but kind
But
of not.
Was
But hold
Sammy
on,
really more
hold
of
on,
his
hold on.
okay.
I'm not done yet.
Okay.
What I would like to see, because there are people who are like, I don't really care about Sammy being a heel. Like, he's super over. People sing his song. Like, he's a good guy, whatever. But I'm kind of intrigued, similar to the way that I think a lot of people were with Bailey. I want to see them go full blown heel with Sammy. Like, I think the best way for Sammy to go about that, if they want to get him heat as quickly as possible, is to turn on Jey Uso. Because Jey Uso is so over, champion or not champion. The fans, especially the live attendance, fans in the audience, they go crazy for him. So it feels like the easiest way for Sammy to get hated quickly is to turn on his friend that he has this long history with, especially one that they can kind of revisit, because it would be the opposite of what we've seen before, where Jey did not like Sammy. I kind of want to see the dynamic of it being the other way, because we haven't seen that side of Sammy before.
And now with how heels, bad guys are portrayed, a lot of them aren't just villains and evil. Like they're justified heels. So this wouldn't be just a Sami Zayn being a bad guy and
It's just
evil.
stepping on who you got to step on to get to
It
what you
just
want.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Mhm.
it's the bad guy to the common person, perception.
Mhm.
But to you, it's no, I'm gonna do what's best for me. And if it
Kind of
means that
like
I have to like who? Say it.
it's kind of, well, this is my thought. It's kind of like what we wanted Cena to do.
Oh, I thought you were gonna go like Drew McIntyre, but okay.
No, I was thinking him too, but my immediate
Okay.
thought was like how we wanted the Cena heel turn to go. That was what we wanted. It was like, oh, he turned on Cody because his ultimate goal was to get 17. So we wanted that to be like
That's a catalyst.
yeah, that's what we wanted. That could easily be the case for Sammy, because I mean, Sammy has been in the company a long time, and now he sees Jey Uso win the title before him, and it's like, well, they both beat Gunther, but he won a lesser title because he won the Intercontinental title. So it's like there's a jealousy factor that could come into play. It's like there's a lot of history there where I feel like it could be interesting. I don't know how well it would go over, but like it feels like an easy thing to do, you know?
Would this be a feud you'd be glued to? Sammy versus Jay.
I don't know, because I think that the story is there. Like, I think people would definitely be like emotionally invested in it because they were so invested in what was happening when Sammy was trying to join the bloodline and Jay just like not wanting anything to do with him. And so then once it finally clicked and they were all cool, like people were super into it. So it feels like if they're going to try and flip that, people would care. But I also kind of like the idea of Sammy doing it but kind of regretting it. You know what I mean? Where it's like he's gonna do what he has to do to get where he wants, but he's not evil. And so it'll be kind of like, it reminds me of like Shawn Michaels super kicking Ric Flair and being like, I'm sorry. And it's like
I'm sorry, I love
he
you.
had to do what he had to do you know? So it would be kind of fun to see Sammy do that because he's a bad guy, but not
Mhm.
100%. And it's like, yeah, I had to stab Jay in the back, but like he would probably do the same thing to me if it meant he was going to be champion or something. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I don't know. I
Yeah.
feel like that is kind of a way that they could go about Sammy being somewhat like teetering in between, where again, an understandable heel if they don't want to go full
Justified.
blown like
Very
Sammy
good.
saying like fuck everybody. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I don't know. I think it's interesting though.
It there's history there, and they can definitely do something.
Mm-hmm.
I am excited to let it play out.
Yeah, we'll
Because
see. I
shit's
mean,
not bad. The ending of Raw and everything, it's not bad, guys. So
I okay. Moving on to Liv Morgan is seeming to finally catch on to Finn Balor's games, and I'm sorry, but like, first of all, I loved those memes of Finn in the background of last week's Judgment Day.
he posted the video.
I
He
know.
posted one of the video. Like that's
I'm
incredible.
obsessed. I'm obsessed. I'm like, this is hilarious. This is so funny.
Fucking cheesing.
And so Liv just lets him know, I know what you're doing. And I don't trust you. It's not that I don't trust Dom. I don't have a problem with Dom, where it's like she kind of does, but she knows what is going on because that's how she got into the Judgment Day. What Finn is doing is exactly how he was scheming to get Rhea out and Liv in. So I'm excited that they're finally kind of like going with this and maybe going to progress it, because as I've said over the past couple weeks, it feels like they keep moving forward with the Judgment Day collapse, and then they take a bunch of steps back, and then they move 2 steps forward, and then they move 5 steps back. So it's like you kind of don't really know where they're going or how long this is going to be drawn out, and it almost feels like they just don't know what they want to do, or they don't have a plan for everybody in Judgment Day after their collapse, and that's why they keep doing it. I don't know, but this feels like we might be getting closer to something.
Yeah, to me, yeah, when you say the step back, like halt forward, Carlito's release probably didn't help things.
Did you also
They
notice that they weren't playing 2K? So it was
he
definitely
took the
Carlito's 2K.
PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
He took it with him.
I mean, I don't blame him.
I mean, that
You
was his
know.
contribution. That's kind of hilarious that they
And
played
Dom
into
was
that
wearing a
bit.
Carlito shirt last night.
Yeah, and similar note, but sidebar, Rhea was wearing an R-Truth shirt
Mm-hmm.
before she had to take it off and then be on
Yeah.
camera. But yeah, with what's going on with the Judgment Day, those releases, back to my original point, Carlito release probably hindered a little bit of their plans for it. Not so much that they had to, scrap it all, but there's definitely probably him being played into that. With Liv having not only to juggle the Judgment Day element of it, like her versus Finn, but then you have the Dom, you have the World Tag Team titles. Like, there's a lot of moving parts there. So, to me, it's going at a pace where I'm not upset with it, and it's just like, okay, like what they're doing makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I would like to see though is Raquel in explaining her involvement with Roxanne a little bit. Why wasn't Roxanne out there for Liv's match, but she was out there for Finn's match? And the words, I mean, it was caught on a hot mic. What are you doing out here? And it was, you sent me, type of shit. So,
Mm-hmm.
like,
Mm-hmm.
there's some stuff that is going to get aired out, some dirty laundry. I'm on the edge of my seat. Like, they're building up really well. They are building up really well in my eyes. So
You're patient.
I've learned to be very patient in this world, and especially with the wrestling now. I mean, the way they tell stories is so it was much more detailed than how we watched it, not only just like 5 years ago, so
Mm-hmm.
everything means something. Every little detail means something, which I'm not used to with watching wrestling.
Mhm.
You know, it was all about the shock value and, you know, the big heroes and all that, where they're very meticulous in how they do things. So I like that element of it, and have learned to be patient.
So then we move on to the Money in the Bank qualifying match between Stephanie Vaquer. So this was her Monday Night Raw official debut as being part
As a
of the
member of the Raw
roster.
roster.
Liv Morgan and Ivy Nile. Honestly, I went into this. I did not think that Stephanie was going to win because I didn't think that they were going to have people doing double duty at Worlds Collide and Money in the Bank. Obviously, that's not the case because we found out that the two people who have matches at Worlds Collide are also having a match at Money in the Bank.
Well,
So-
Sara.
So we first found out this was actually like a solid match
Very good
too. And it could have gone awry because if we're looking at like the size differences between Stephanie and her two opponents, it could have been pretty bad. But I think that this was a solid match. I mean, obviously Stephanie won because why wouldn't she? And whatever is going on with Liv and Raquel and Kyrie and Io, that is picking up. We saw that Liv got a nice old slash on her forehead. So I don't know if that's them kind of teasing that they're going to come for the women's tag titles. I don't know, but we'll get into that in a second. So how do you feel about Stephanie being the last woman in the women's ladder match?
They are trying to load this women's Money in the Bank match with as much star power as possible. And I'm here for it. I love it. There's a lot of different women who could win. I know there's obviously the odds-on favorite in Naomi. But
I feel like that's the internet's favorite to win. Because I feel like if you looked at
I
this
mean,
slate,
like,
you would
I'm
think
on the
like
internet,
Rhea,
like,
you know?
yeah, like that's the thing. Like, I don't think Rhea's gonna win though.
No,
and
absolutely
I'm
not.
both. I'm sitting in the middle of the fence, and I don't think Rhea's gonna win.
I know.
And to be honest, at this point, I don't even know if Naomi is really gonna win. I don't know.
I feel like it's gonna be like Naomi or like Stephanie. Because
Like,
I think
they could actually do it. Yeah,
I
you're
think
right.
they're
They could
gonna
actually do
have
it.
Julia go after the women's US title. It seems like they're gonna probably try to do that. Rhea doesn't need it. Who else isn't? Oh, Alexa, she doesn't need it. So like to me, the only logical person is Naomi because that gives it to a heel also. And it kind of elevates her story with Bianca and Jade. But it could also go to Stephanie because they kind of had to rush the NXT women's title off of her. So it wouldn't be surprising if they're like, all right, let's replace that with the briefcase because obviously we then saw later that they teased Stephanie and Rhea going head to head. That feels like we are booking WrestleMania 42 early. And we just want you guys to know we are doing it in June. You know, like this feels like a WrestleMania 42 night one main event. Or even night two, if we're being honest, because the women are gonna fucking kill it over the next however many years.
We're gonna see a women main event of one night soon.
I mean, it would be how killer would it be though if it was night two? I think
that would mean it would have to. I mean, I agree, but it would have to.
This is a match that could be night two. Because I kind of agree with Humble Wrestling that said Stephanie Vaquer is going to start getting the love that Rhea Ripley gets. Like in 6 months, we're going to be seeing Stephanie and Rhea being like the two faces of like the Raw women's division. And they're going to be getting like equal love. And so I feel like that match right there, hello.
Aura gets thrown around a lot.
Yeah.
Stephanie Vaquer has it.
Yeah.
Like she has it.
You know what's kind of crazy is people were so much more excited, I feel like, when Julia was signed. And obviously it was around the same time that Stephanie came in too. But I feel like Stephanie has like stepped over Julia. And she's become like the fan favorite of the two. Because you kind of felt like, okay, how are we going to divvy up the fans and who are they going to cheer for? Who are they going to love? Julia was definitely more well known simply because she was in Japan, so people were
Yeah.
familiar with her. But like, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like her wrestling that makes
It's the
Stephanie. It's like I don't know what it is, but it's crazy for us to be sitting here talking about Stephanie when we're as opposed to talking more about Julia. And that's no disrespect to Julia. Julia's killing it.
no,
Like
no, no,
she's
no.
gonna
There's a
kill it.
difference. No,
But
you're
I
right.
thought it
You're
was
right.
gonna be
There is a little bit.
flipped with at first, you know.
Well, the thing, it's at least what I've seen is that Stephanie Vacour just back to the or like she has a coolness about her where you know it's the look, it's everything, it's how she
She's so
wrestles.
different.
I mean, she's very different in the ring because you don't think of her as being so athletic and doing all these lucha type moves, but can.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, obviously, Booker T has definitely uh, launch padded her with his commentary and her moves.
Pat McAfee needs to not try to replicate it though. He needs to.
You know what? I will agree with that. I think Booker T needs to be the guy to do like that. Like he does his and then
Yeah.
Pat needs to find his own thing.
Yeah.
Easy. Like
Yeah.
don't replicate it.
Yeah.
With Stephanie, it's tough. Like I love her more than I'm on Team Stephanie over Team Julia.
But
I just,
it's kind of like this.
I don't know why, but
you know
like,
what I mean?
it's
It's kind of like
100%.
this, you know?
Yeah, but it's like Rock Austin.
I think maybe it's like maybe we've just seen more personality or like I would say that it feels like they've given us more of a behind the scenes feel of who
Way
Stephanie
more.
is than
Way
they
more
have.
with Stephanie.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's a language barrier thing. That might be something because we know how WWE can be with that. But I do think we need to see more hype for Julia because it's like it's really exciting that she's on SmackDown and the group of girls that she can work with on SmackDown is so good. So it's like she does deserve to get that hype. I just find it interesting that we're talking like, they put Stephanie with Rhea Ripley on screen. Like that's them going all in on Stephanie being like the next Rhea Ripley, So it's fascinating. I'm excited.
I don't you're right. Like there is I don't know what it is, but
There's
there
something
is like like she just has like she walks out and the music, the and just
her presentation is like top notch.
that's the word. Like the presentation of Stephanie Vacour is 11 out of 10. It's fantastic.
You know what? And that could be something that is the only difference. Because I feel like
It's so
it's easy because like let's look, right? Like, okay, let's compare. I guess we can say this is apples to oranges, whatever. But like, let's look at the Usos and who people gravitate toward more. If we're talking about personality, comedic timing, and whatever, Jimmy takes the cake, right? Like Jimmy, in my opinion, is funnier. Like he's just better on the
Jimmy
mic.
is the funny one, and Jay is actually. I'm pretty sure Jay has been on record saying that Jimmy is the funny one.
Yeah. So like, but you can see the difference in how people are attracted to them because of how they're presented. Like Jay has the yeet, he has the more upbeat music, he interacts with the fans, he comes out through the crowd. Whereas people love Jimmy, but he's got like a harder song. Like he doesn't interact with the fans. He doesn't have the catchphrase, and it's like night and day with how fans react to them. And that's kind of what it is with Julia. Julia does have a softer music. She has a more like, I don't even know how to describe the way that she has a very cool entrance, I think, but it's just like so different from Stephanie. And I'm like, that really could be the only reason why people perceive her far differently than they do Julia.
It's the only thing I can think of. It really
Their
is
vibes are just different. I don't know.
Like Julia, yeah. I don't know. I don't want to keep really rambling, but
yeah, I honestly I don't know.
Does anyone? Yeah, no real comments about.
Well, Jay says Stephanie doesn't need to win. I agree, but I also think
Roxanne's in it.
Isn't she? Roxanne. Oh yes.
She could win it.
Yeah, I think so. This is the thing, right? So like to me, if we're talking about, because people are so obsessed with the Money in the Bank being what propels people in their career. And I do think that in most cases, or the way that we were like initially kind of sold, at least over the last several years, we're sold on the Money in the Bank match, is that is what it was for. But if we're really looking at it, the first winner was Edge. Edge did not need the fucking Money in the Bank briefcase to like win the title, but whatever. So
He did in their eyes. I'll disagree with that.
but I'm just saying, like, the origin, it's not like it was like some random Joe Schmo who's not around anymore who had to like win the title, you know? So but I do think that there are times where it just doesn't make sense for somebody to win the title or win the Money in the Bank briefcase to elevate them. Like, I don't think that they need to do that every single year. I think that whatever they're trying to do with the storylines, that's what needs to make sense. Not to mention, we were just talking about this last week. Somebody who might need to win Money in the Bank, you shouldn't want them to win if they're going to either hold on to it forever or they're just inevitably going to cash in and lose. Like, that does nothing for them at all,
No,
you know?
it doesn't.
So in this case, Stephanie could do it because they're really trying to push her to the moon. So don't be surprised if that happens. But if we're talking storyline, Roxanne. Because imagine the implosion of Judgment Day with that.
It's the the hanging the briefcase over Liv. Like that would be cool. Like that would be really cool. I would like to see that.
So we shall see. But speaking of Judgment Day, we saw Finn Balor and JD McDaddy take on the War Raiders for what feels like the millionth time. And I'm sorry, JD McDaddy needs more praise from just everybody. That man is a psycho. He is so good in the ring. It's like
taste.
This is the thing where it's like, I always want to call out the hypocrisy of fans because I've done it a million times saying like they pick and choose when in-ring ability matters and when it doesn't. But then when there is somebody who is obviously so good, they don't give them credit because their character is a bad guy. Like, that to me is wild. In-ring ability being as good as it is with JD McDonough, that is somebody that should be getting credited every day of the week. Like,
I should. I want to credit New Day on commentary. All right. I want to hear and see New Day on commentary every week. That is how you're going to build them up to be hateable heels and just bad guys. Their back and forth with Michael Cole and Pat McAfee has been hilarious to watch. Like, they're so good. And then you have the interaction they had with the War Raiders of the usual, oh, we're going to throw you into you, like, standard. And then, obviously, it's a fake, and Xavier Woods falls out of his chair. Classic. Like, we need more of that on Raw. And New Day are perfect for it.
They need to do something to elevate the Raw tag team division because the SmackDown tag team division is absolutely murdering them.
Kicking their ass.
It's like, and the thing is like there are definitely more tag teams on SmackDown than there are Raw. So like, you know, they are at a disadvantage in that regard, but it's not like they don't have solid talent, you know, like, and that's the thing is they are so insistent on wanting to break up tag teams. And it's like, sometimes it just doesn't work. Sometimes you should just keep tag teams together because at this point, it looks like, why are there even any Raw tag titles? Why do they have the World Tag titles? Because you're not putting like any time or effort into that division the way that you are on SmackDown. Like, that is wild. And it's like, there's a reason why fans sit there and question why you introduced all these titles, because then it's like the biggest concern was you aren't going to put in the required time to make it interesting. And that's exactly what's happening. It's the same thing with like the women's mid-card titles. Right now, they've been favoring the Intercontinental title. They're abandoning the U.S. title now that Zelina is champion. I mean, they didn't even really do a whole lot when Chelsea was champion. And it's like, what was the point? What was the point of creating them?
Airtime. That's what
it's just, it's crazy. But anyway, Judgment Day does get help from Roxanne, which obviously ruffled some feathers within the Judgment Day as well, because it was like, ooh, okay, you came out and you had Liv lose, but you came out and you ended up helping Finn and JD win. What's really going on here? What's going on here? So it's just another chapter and whatever is going on there. But
I
we'll
just want to
see.
see New Day on commentary. Okay. I
Mhm.
want to see them on commentary every week. Something like they are doing well in their heel run. The problem is that they have not had a lot of great opportunities to showcase that in my eyes because of how weak the tag division is. Like you put them over on SmackDown in that tag division, there's a lot of different wrestlers that they can work with to help them out. Where on Raw, it's not of a lack of talent,
Mhm.
it's a lack of bodies. Like it's really only the War Raiders, Judgment Day, like American Made somewhat. Oh no, American Made, that's it. And then that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Like I can't really think of any other tag teams on Raw. So
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is like they need more, but it also was like, do you take any away from SmackDown because it's like going so well? But then you look at the tag teams in NXT and there's no one that's like super exciting right now. Like you're not going to call up Hank and Tank and be like, there we go. The Raw tag division's better now. Like,
don't you
no,
dare take Hank and Tank away from NXT.
no,
Don't
they
you
need,
dare take away my tag team champions.
oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. Anyway, moving on to Lyra Valkyria is not happy
Bro.
with the video package that they showed of Becky Lynch earlier in the show, and she marched out angrily to call out Becky. And I mean, I think that their back and forths in recent weeks has been really good. We've credited Lyra with almost like out promoing Becky,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is purposeful. Um, but she's really been coming into her own on the main roster. I feel like I still don't feel like she's getting the respect that she deserves. However, I think that people are finally recognizing like just how good Lyra is because of this feud, which is exactly why she's not Becky Hogan.
Yeah, what? What? Say it. I don't think they heard you in the back.
Yeah,
Say it
she's
again.
not Becky Hogan.
She's not.
She's not.
She's
Even
not.
if she wins the IC title at Money in the Bank. Okay.
Well,
people are going to lose their
okay.
minds because that's probably going to happen. But it is the recipe that WWE has followed forever in feuds like this. Becky has to win the title, or you assume, if we're going to follow how it's been done historically, Becky has to win it now so that Lyra can crawl her way back to becoming the champion and like really put a stamp on like this is my title, this is my time, I beat you, I'm better than you, blah 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 blah.
Because it's a question though about Becky winning it. Did you know that there was a stipulation if Becky loses, she can't fight for the world
No,
Intercontinental title?
that must be something that they either like just threw in or what, because that was not a thing.
Okay, if you don't remember it, then I feel better because
Okay.
I do not remember that being a stipulation.
Is that who is saying that?
No. Becky mentioned it in the promo.
Oh.
She said something along the lines of, if I can't beat you and I cannot challenge for the Intercontinental title again, like something like.
Oh, okay, yeah, because it says here, if Becky loses, she can no longer challenge for the title as long as Valkyria is champion. If Valkyria loses, she will be forced to raise Becky's hand and acknowledge Lynch as the
It's just as long as Lyra's champion.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, then still okay.
But
I don't like the stipulation of like you can never challenge for the title.
Oh yeah,
again.
no, it's almost always for if that person's still champion.
The only person that it ever happened to where they literally couldn't was Cody in AEW. That's the only one I can remember.
I mean, to be that was kind of fair since he was an EVP, if we're being honest.
Well, that was good guy Cody doing good guy things. Like we get it, but it also inevitably led to his departure. So we can thank Chris Jericho for that one, Sarah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think that Becky's winning, and I think because again, they're gonna want to further her as the bad guy in the situation, and then they want to just make Lyra like this super over the top baby face. And this is the easy way to do it. Again, they could have their rematch at Evolution. That's in July.
But
So
if Bailey isn't on that fucking Evolution,
no, I know
card,
Bailey's got to come back.
I'm gonna get so mad.
I would be interested to see her involved in this match. That's my dream, is that this is a triple threat, and then Lyra is able to like beat them both. Like, I feel like that would be like almost like her coming out party. You know, that would be when people would be like, oh shit, she took down Becky and Bailey. That's half the horsewomen right there. You know,
The Bird Lady took out the Horsewoman.
yeah,
That's a headline. That's a headline.
Yeah.
Woo!
Okay, moving on to Braun Breaker, the Bronsons. They took on Sammy and Jay.
Yep.
Okay. And Sammy broke it down for us like back in the day.
How can he be a bad guy? Look at him busting it.
He was, you know what? What if it's all an act? You know, he's doing what he thinks that people want him to do.
It is an act.
And of course, this match was never going to end fairly. But first of all, hold on a second. Before we even get into that, what do you think of their entrance theme mashup? It's like, I'm kind of into it, but like,
5.5 out of 10, like, I give or take. You know, I did like the beginning of it, but how it continued, that's where I didn't like.
The problem is that Braun's song is so much better. That's the problem. Because like the vibes are so different, and then it's like once Braun's gets going, it's like, oh, this is hard, and then they like go back to like Bronson's like quiet-ish.
But I did like how they had the Bronson Reed into the siren. Like I love that. That was great. But once they continue to the ring and they're entering the ring and it's still switching, I'm like, all right, just like pick one. You know what I mean? Like if you want to go into Braun Breakers, fine.
Yeah.
If you're going into Braun Breakers before it gets to the verses and then you go into Bronson Reeds and that's it. Now I just felt like it was way too much switching.
Yeah, I think that, and I mean, I get that if they don't want to completely abandon either of them, I wouldn't want them to completely abandon Braun's, because I think they finally like hit their stride with his.
Okay.
But anyway, this match we knew was never going to end fairly because, hello, they have history, and of course, Braun and Bronson are going to want to assert their dominance. So, yeah, I mean, I don't really know what else to say other than also Bronson Reed was getting a lot of love online because he lost some weight and people finally noticed.
That was did. All right. I wasn't going crazy. Okay. He did look a lot slimmer.
I mean,
than the last time we saw him.
I mean, he was off for what, 6-7 months. So
November.
Yeah. So, I mean, good for him. He's still a big dude though. So that tsunami is still going to absolutely kill. But, I did feel like with this, I guess it kind of goes along with the Sami Zayn potential heel turn. Do you kind of feel like
I'm listening.
Saying that Bronson Reed lost 600 pounds?
You're frozen. Frozen. Let it go. Let it go. I wish I could see. Oh, there you go. Pourquoi, Sarah? Pourquoi? Two vas. All right. Well, in the meantime, I mean, kind of. Becky did make the stipulation. Great. I'll answer Calvin's question in the meantime. If the New Day are forming an alliance with Waller, who is Theory going to have on the side? Fucking no one. He's going to go to SmackDown and become a face and be in the U.S. title picture, which then he's back to square one again. So, be interesting to see that. Okay. All right. Well, it's a good time for me to check my email. What's up with you guys? How's everyone doing? While Sarah gets her shit going. What happened? All right. Well, da 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 da. Na, 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 da, bong, bong. Oh, I already sent it through. Well, I hope he knows. All right. Well, oh, Sarah, I'm trying to get back. Well, you know what? Keep trying. It's a type of field, one to be a combination. Where's all right, well, for anyone here, Dylan, I'm happy you love WWE. WWE is on right now with their minor league. Let's comment on what's going on in the ring right now in NXT. Ethan Page cutting a promo on Laredo Kid and Javon Evans. Who is Laredo Kid? I have no idea. I don't know who Laredo Kid is. I know that he is in AAA and is a Fuego luchador, high flying. I mean, basically everybody in AAA is. Javon Evans is a bouncy. Oh, she's here. Good. All right. All right. Good.
Exhausting. Okay, anyway. So because they keep Jey Uso involved in other stuff that has nothing to do with the World Heavyweight title, like whatever's going on with Sammy, I mean, he's still kind of in it with Punk. He's feuding with Braun and Bronson and Seth. It feels like are we getting fed what is inevitably going to happen when he loses the title, and he's probably losing the title soon. That's not me wishful thinking. I'm just saying I'm trying to look at what they're doing because they have him. There's no feud for him for the World Heavyweight title. So they're having him do other stuff that feels like, okay, if they're having him involved in things that have nothing to do with the championship, that feels like, okay, they're taking the title off him. Or it's gonna be going to Seth, who's in the Money in the Bank match, and he's feuding. He's involved with this whatever's going on with Jey right now.
Yeah, there's something going like we already talked about earlier, but do you think that they would do Sammy Jey like right away, like after he loses the title? Or would they have him like try to both take down Seth and then during them taking down Seth, Sammy's just like F you?
Well, I don't know because I think it depends. Like I mean, if we're looking at Money in the Bank and we're going to talk about our predictions, but it feels like the only one who makes sense with what's going on right now is for Seth to win, and then he can easily cash in on Jey again to get him so much more hate. And then that is still in line with what Jey has been doing over the past few weeks. But if somebody else wins, we could see Sammy do a heel turn where he helps Gunther win on Monday. Like that's a way to get that going.
That would be wild.
And then that could allow somebody else like an LA Knight to win the Money in the Bank briefcase, which is basically who a lot of people want to win. I think out of everybody. I mean, other than like Penta, it feels like everybody wants like LA Knight. But it just feels like it's not an accident that we're seeing Jey involved with so much stuff that doesn't surround the title because it doesn't make any sense. Like, why would they be putting the championship on the back burner so that he can feud with like 5 people? I don't really, and it's not for the title, you know? Like, I don't know.
There's so much more than just the title in this feud right now. There's so much more than just the title.
So that's why he doesn't need it because it becomes a prop.
But it's not a prop because it's not like it's not a prop. It's not. The problem is it's not the focus, but it is. It's the focus for one person.
That's why Seth should win.
That's the point. That's the point. Yeah.
But I'm saying if Seth doesn't win and it's somebody else, that's why I'm saying it feels like Jey's on the path
I
to
do.
lose, because like
Yeah.
why would they keep the title on him and then have him doing like tag teams and 3-on-3 matches when he's the champion? That's only going to delegitimize him as a champion more than a lot of people already feel. So that doesn't do anything for him. You know, I don't know. That's why I just think that this year is going to be a throwaway year, and that's why it's going to be Seth that wins. But I feel like storyline wise, because for me, I think when I think about like the Money in the Bank winners, like ideally, do you want it to go to somebody who could really benefit from having the briefcase and cashing in and becoming champion? Yeah, but I also want it to make sense, and I want to be interested in why that person won the briefcase and like what is going to happen immediately. Because if it's somebody who just wins it and then you're like, okay, cool, they're just going to carry the briefcase around for up to a year, why is that exciting?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It
It's
could.
like,
You make
because
valid
like
point.
LA Knight winning would be cool, but like then we're just gonna be like, okay, he can't cash in anytime soon because they're not gonna have him cash in on Jay, and he's not cashing in on John Cena. So like, I don't. It's like then you automatically are like, why do I care about him having the briefcase? There's nothing imminent to be excited about. I don't know. That's just my thought process, but I know a lot of people won't agree with me. It is what it is. But speaking about Money in the Bank, we got the final qualifying match between CM Punk, AJ Styles, and El Grande Americano, which was kind of controversial because his look-alike has already been in a qualifying match and he did not qualify. But El Grande Americano, who was wearing boots that were initialed with CG.
Yeah, he borrowed Chelsea Green's boots. He probably
Oh
left
my
him on the
God.
plane.
Anyway,
Like,
he
it
is
makes
now the final participant in the Money in the Bank match. And I feel like this brings on a bigger conversation, which is, do you feel they chose the right people to be in the Money in the Bank match? Because I feel that was like a big conversation online. I could not stop seeing TikToks about it. People who are not
really.
happy about El Grande being in the match. But do you feel like they chose the right people for the men and women's match this year?
Yeah.
Like,
Honestly, yeah. Like, all right, put it this way. Yeah, it'd be great to see AJ Styles in the match, but let's think he is low key feuding with Dom. Like,
mhm,
that's going to be the next thing. With CM Punk, it's not about, like, yeah, it would be great for him to be in the match, but that's in it already. Obviously, but let me back up. It'd be great for him to be in the match, but with what his story is that he is fighting Seth, who is who is in the match and going to do everything in his power to win said match.
mhm,
And it just doesn't make sense for them. I don't, and with everything going on right now, it's all signs are pointing for Seth winning, and I'm totally fine with it because that's the story that's being told to us on television. Like, and
mhm,
it doesn't feel forced. It's not bad. Like, it's been good. And with the women, it's star power. Of course, they picked a lot of the right women in my eyes. I have no problem with them. Rhea's never been in a Money in the Bank match before. You have Stephanie Vacor making her first appearance. We're seeing Alexa Bliss being finally utilized in a high stakes match,
mhm,
and Roxanne's in the match too. So you have a nice balance of vets and young talent that I'm okay with it. I'm very happy with who's in the match because I can't predict that one. It's not both matches where I'm like sitting there and be like, oh yeah, it's gonna go whatever. Like, Seth's gonna win, great, but I have no idea how. What's it gonna lead to?
Well,
And
and
with the
that might
women,
be
I just have no idea who the hell's gonna win.
well, and that's the thing. I think when people are complaining about the women, I'm like, who do you think should not be in the match and who should have replaced them? And I haven't seen anyone say that. It feels like people
Exactly.
want to
That's
complain about both, but if they have any sort of argument, I feel like you can apply it to the men's more. But again, this is a thing where the fans are fickle because people were mad that El Grande got into the match instead of AJ Styles or CM Punk. But when we're talking about who needs the Money in the Bank briefcase, out of those three, who would need it? Grande Americano. Hello. Like CM Punk does not need a Money in the Bank briefcase to get him a title match. AJ Styles does not need a Money in the Bank briefcase to get him a title match. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you're picking and choosing when this unsaid rule applies. And you can't do that. It either applies all the time or it doesn't at all. Like, we can't have it both ways. So to me, it's like, did I want Grande to be in the match? Not necessarily, but I was like, but for the most part, I didn't think it was going to happen because he's going to do double duty because he's in a title match at Worlds Collide. So I was like, all right, well, Gable is in a match at Worlds Collide. So I didn't think that. But when I was trying to think, like, okay, how does it make sense for Punk or AJ to be in this match? The only one I could convince myself that could maybe win was AJ. And that's only because I'm like, it would be cool to see him in this match. And he hasn't been champion for a while. But like, other than that, it was like, all right, like they already have the star power of the men in the match. They already have the people that are like, oh, we don't want to see them win in the match. It's like, just add in another guy that's going to put on a killer show. Like, isn't that what's exciting about it?
The point of the match is for you to want, like, to be invested and to be up on your feet and all that jazz goes with it. With the people we have in both matches, you're excited. You have that excitement of wanting to watch it. Yeah, you obviously Seth being the odds-on favorite for the men, it takes a little bit out of it, but not enough to the point where I don't want to watch it. Yeah, he could win, but like, what's going to happen? There's so many other little parts that you wouldn't really focus on or care to focus on in the past, where now they mean so much more. For example, the Bronze helping him win. Like, does that mean that we're going to see CM Punk and Sami Zayn now, or Jey Uso, even, for God's sakes, to stop Seth Rollins? Like, because Gunther even said, that was another thing. We didn't even talk about your boy.
Yeah.
He what, not strike? Is it strike fear? Yeah, strike fear. Makes sense.
Sure.
Strike fear into Jay with saying how he doesn't need to be going out and saving his friends. That's not what a champion does. Because he's right. He's right. That's not what a champion does. That's what a loyal best friend does.
And yet then he came out later.
And he did, exactly. No, but that hammered it home. That he's going to be a loyal friend. Could that be his downfall when it gets to the Money in the Bank match? Because he's still feuding with Seth, and then that ultimately leads to his downfall. But the kicker is, all right, Gunther wins. You think Seth's just going to, like, beat Gunther for it? Like, no.
No, I think that's why I'm saying
there's going to be some bullshit with Seth.
If Seth wins and cashes in on Jay, I really feel like it's going to be a replication of what he did the first time, and that's cash in during the match. Because Gunther cannot take another pin from Jay. You can't do that.
Oh, no. I don't think Gunther took his pin.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't, he needs to, he's here. Like, that's the thing. One pin for Gunther is 1,000 pins for everyone else in the way that his character is presented. He needs to demolish the next part. Like, demolish. Well, he did it to McAfee. Like, look at it.
I mean, that's why it's like, if they come out, maybe Gunther lays out Jay, and then Seth comes out and takes advantage of that, lays out Gunther, and then is able to, like, hit the stomp on Jay and win. Because this is the thing too that people are fickle about. People don't want Seth to win because they're like, he's already won Money in the Bank. He doesn't need to be champion. Yet you're sitting here talking about CM Punk winning. What are we talking about? Like, again, you cannot hold these standards for one and not all. So, I mean, Punk's won it twice. Like, come on now, guys. Seth hasn't won the Money in the Bank briefcase since what, 2017? 2014? 2015?
No, it was 2014. I was there. I was there when Seth won.
Come on.
It was awesome.
Come on.
That ladder spot where he superplex Mox.
But also him cashing in was absolute fire. That was like my favorite era of Seth Rollins.
Imagine watching, like, I would watch that cash in with, I would say 8, 9 people, whatever high school groups are. And every single one of them were not like wrestling fans. They were just casuals, whatever. I am going fucking ballistic.
Mhm.
And these poor people like just laughing, like, what are you going crazy about? My girlfriend at the time, just like, that's him.
It's like, you
He's
don't
doing,
get it.
he's doing his thing.
You
He's doing
don't
his
get
thing over
it.
there.
This is
And
such
I'm
a
looking
big
like,
moment.
He's catching it. It's the main event of WrestleMania. No one has done that. Like, that's not
And
even
it's
possible.
Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. It's not like two shrubs, you know?
Exactly. Like, who the hell's gonna think to cash in on those two behemoths?
Yeah. So that's why I'm like, I think it makes sense. I don't know. The thing is I feel like people are really complaining about what is going on in WWE right now with the stories. They're not interested, whatever. And I feel like if we can leave Money in the Bank feeling like, okay, there is some unpredictability coming here from who won the briefcases, but like you can also kind of see a direction of what they're going to do. That's more exciting than just like, oh yay, everyone I wanted to win won, and now we just get to sit and wait and see when they get to become champion. You know, like, I don't know. I have my hopes up for Seth, but I just feel like as far as everybody goes in that match, he just makes the most sense for what's happening right now. They really want to, if they really want to push forward that his new faction with the Bronsons are top tier, you can't take us down, whatever, then he needs to be champion. It just makes sense. No one's gonna stop cheering Yeet for Jey Uso because he
No, they're
loses the
not.
title. So, but credibility wise, Seth can lose some if he doesn't win. You know, if he doesn't become champion soon, and if he doesn't win Money in the Bank, I don't know the next time that he would get a title shot. So that's also a problem because he just had a title shot against Jay last month or whatever. I don't
Yeah.
think that he's just gonna magically be like, yeah, I'll give you another one, Seth.
No,
like that's
that's
not
not.
happening. So but anyway, that was Raw.
That was Raw, Sarah.
Yep.
And we'll be back tomorrow for our Money in the Bank predictions along with the Super Show. Because on Thursday, Sarah and I will be hopping over to the Ringside Rant over on Stadium Rant to hang out with our peeps over there to give our own Money in the Bank predictions and hear about their Money in the Bank predictions. And I want to pick their brain about AEW too. I want to pick the brain of the professor about AEW because they're doing a live watch for Firefest tomorrow night. So like they watch that they're on my level type of thing. So I like to pick his brain. No offense to you, but you know, sometimes talking about AEW, it's like wall certain things. With him, I actually want to see stuff. So yeah, be ready for that, okay? And be on the lookout for new shit on the channel. Subscribe, hit that bell notification to know every time we go live and post. Follow us on social media on Twitter at Patty Pitts and at SMarshXO, and on Instagram at Patty Pitts as well. TikTok, we're on the tick of the talk at No Nights Off Show. We're
Almost
close to
at
1,000. We're like close.
We're at 976.
Yeah. So help us get there. Okay, peeps. Help us get to 1,000 and help us get to 2,300. I think it's 2,300 subscribers on YouTube.
24. We're at 2330.
Oh, let's go. 24. Let's go. Thank you guys for tuning in. God bless. And remember, you can do it. So just do it.